Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's all good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Of course. Pleasure.
Well, it's great to be able to talk to you, and great to be able to talk about an amazing new album from Eclipse called Wired, which is going to be coming out in just a couple weeks now through Frontiers Music. I've gotten a chance to be able to check out this album quite a number of times, and it's just such a fun record. I mean, with the way that you guys have been going lately over the last several years, and just seeing the momentum that has been rising and rising, I'm just so happy to see such a great fun album like Wired is coming out in 2021.
We are super excited about the album as well. It feels like we put in another gear. It's full of energy. It's fast. It's fun. It's playful. I'm really happy with the result.
Oh, it's so great to hear that. So, thinking about that, I mean, what was it like to start writing for this album?
Well, it was a pandemic, so it's kind of in the beginning. It was kind of we are like didn't know what to do. Can we be able to meet up? But I'm not one of those guys who like to write over internet or with Skype. So we decided let's do it as we normally do, and we met up in my studio. We wrote the album together as a team, and yeah, we recorded it kind of the same way we always done. And but I think we kind of all those high energy fun songs. Maybe it's a result of the whole period being kind of depressing. So we wanted to have a good time while doing it, and also write an album for the the startup or the post-COVID world kind of.
Yeah, and it feels like a perfect soundtrack to that as well, too. I mean, when you can take something that is so negative, like the last upcoming 2 years now, and you're able to make something positive out of it, like creating a great album and being able to share more of those great, fun, positive moments that's going on with it. I mean, the fact that you're able to still get together and write an album rather than having to do it over online through the internet is a great thing to see that you were able to do that, because I think that makes a huge difference when you're all together.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. It's if I write together, if we write over Skype, it's like I'm doing my thing, the other guy I'm writing with is doing his thing. It's like there's nothing is happening really with yourself. But when you're in the same room together with someone, I'm not doing. I write differently when I'm in the same room with someone else, and if that person changes to another person, I will start doing something else, and it's I think it's so important that you actually meet up together in real life.
Oh, very much so. And, again, thinking about this album, I mean, especially with the previous album and now here, I mean, it's just like they're both albums that just feel like they're so perfect for that live setting. And when that is eventually able to start happening again, I just imagine the songs are just going to go over so well.
Yeah, we actually rehearsed them last week. We rehearsed them like in a rehearsing space, not in a studio environment, and it worked really well. And everyone was just after we finished one song was like, that was amazing. It's they kind of you don't have to try even half as hard as with other songs to play it. It sounds good. Even if we play like crap, it still sounds good. We can't go wrong with them.
Oh, it's so true. And yeah, just like the final results of it too. I mean, it's just one of those albums where you listen to it and you really can't feel bad listening to it. I mean, when I listen to it, it puts a smile on my face when I listen to it. I mean, whether it's a slower song, whether it's a more up-tempo song, I mean, it has good feelings from start to finish, and it's just like good album to make you feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. It's yeah, I think it's the way we felt while we wrote and recorded it. It really reflects how do you fuck, I can't I don't know how to say it in English, but you really get to get great vibes from the recording sessions through the speakers to the listener, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I along with that as well too. I mean, it's great to see that some great videos have come from this as well too. I mean, some amazing singles that have been coming out and just getting such high praise of what's been shown off on the album so far, and it's great to see those videos coming to life and getting that traction from people all over the world.
Yeah, it's amazing that we're from a small country in Northern Europe, and we can have fans and people listening to us all over the world. That's that's a wonder for real.
So, thinking about that as well too, thinking about specifically like the music videos. I mean, what was it like to be able to shoot those?
Well, actually, to shoot music videos is not that fun as it looks. It's like you just wait and wait and wait, and then you, yeah, okay, now pretend to play the song and jump around, and then you do it, and then it's like wait, okay, let's go. Just pretend, have fun, and jump around and pretend to play the song. You do it over and over and over again, and then just hopefully something will work on the camera. So but it's I think that the best one was probably the Twilight video where we actually did a first gig in 17 months. We played a rock festival in Belgium, a big one, and we had a guy following us with a camera from the day before from the airport in Stockholm all the way up to the stage and afterwards. That was more fun.
Oh, I can totally imagine. And when you're able to see those shots of you, especially when you can see the crowd there again, I mean, that had to be such a great feeling, being able to play in front of a full crowd again after, not knowing how long it was going to be before you were able to play your next show.
Yeah, if we would have known how long time it was going to be when we walked off stage. I think the last gig was in February 2020 with the Eclipse. We played in Oslo in Norway, and if we would have known that this is the last time in 17 months before you're going to do the next show, we would probably have gone crazy. But but it was great to see a lot of people together having a good time again. It was like taking taking a time machine back to 2019, where before the COVID and everything. It was really fun to see.
Yeah, and we can only hope that things will be able to continue to get back in the right direction, and we're able to have those shows again, being able to go to the festivals, able to go to the shows, see our favorite bands, and of course being able to see Eclipse live. I mean, just seeing the reception for Twilight and just seeing the people just so excited seeing you play. I mean, that feeling's got to come back, and I just imagine that when everything opens back up again fully, that no matter where you're playing, it's just going to be, the crowd's just going to be so happy to be able to see you live.
Yeah, I think people are dying to go to theaters, to go to movies, everything. It's been Sweden haven't never had any big lockdowns like America or a lot of countries in the world have had. But I know in Europe a lot of countries had really hard lockdowns, and when things open up, I think it's gonna be really fun. People are gonna go to as many concerts as is possible, and everything is gonna...
Oh, absolutely. And another thing that really makes me think about that too is actually the album cover as well. I mean, it's just it's kind of the opposite when to the Twilight video, where you're playing outside and you can see the crowds everywhere, but just seeing the cover, it just reminds me so much of being in a smoky bar and just being able to see a band playing up on the stage on a weekend. I mean, it's just it's a really cool feeling to me, having been on the stage doing that myself and seeing bands from there as well. I really love your guys' take on this album cover.
Yeah, it's. I think it really reflects the sound or the vibe of the record as well. Seeing bands in small clubs, that's the best thing. Just imagine see AC/DC in a small club. That would be. I don't want to see them in a stadium. I want to see them in a small club, and I think those are always the best gigs.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I mean, just when you're able to have those intimate moments, you're able to see everyone in the crowd, and it's just you get to have that personal connection with them. I mean, that's such a great feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
So, thinking about that as well too, I mean, obviously with the pandemic putting so many things on hold, and again, just being able to work on this album. I mean, when you're able to look back and you look at this pandemic time, and then you look back on the album, I mean, how do you feel about it now?
Well, I just want to. I think in the future, when we think back of the pandemic, I think it's it's just a blur. Yeah, it was some disease back then. Because when you to build the memories, you got to do something. Because if you do something, you have all those things that you can focus your memories on. But nothing has really happened during this pandemic. Most people has just haven't seen friends, haven't done anything special. There's been no real vacations. So I think it's gonna be just a blur in the future when we think back of this whole pandemic situation.
Yeah, I think that probably is a really good take on it, and but at least one positive that does come from it is seeing a lot of bands and artists being able to work on a new album, and I'm so thankful you guys were able to do that as well too. I mean, obviously coming off such a well-received album and now being able to get right back into that with Wire 2. I mean, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's just great to see this trajectory that's really been going on the last few years, just seeing you guys just getting more and more reception that you deserve.
Yeah, I think it's been growing. Well, I think the first good record we made is in 2012. We did a record called Bleed and Scream, which we were really happy with, and I think it had that Eclipse signature sound. But we didn't really start to tour until 2015. Then we started. That was our first like European tour we did. And for every time we've been touring, every place we come back to, there's like we double the amount of people, and the record sales has gone up. So we're doing something right, and things are going in the right direction, and it's fantastic. It's really a pleasure being able to do what we love.
Yeah, and that's why I say again, I mean, it's so great to see that you were able to take advantage of that rather than just waiting to hear when shows were going to be able to be live again. I mean, being able to have those creative moments, being able to actually get together in a room and being able to write rather than being forced to write over Skype. And, like we talked about, I mean, there's such a huge difference being able to write in person compared to writing over the computer. And the fact that you guys were still able to do that despite all the problems that are going on in the world, I totally think it made the album so much stronger.
Yeah, I agree as well. Yeah, it's important, and yeah, I totally agree.
So, with that in mind, I mean, obviously being able to play a great show and get that captured in a song like Twilights, and, with the album coming out in just a couple weeks now, I mean, obviously things are, still up in the air as far as things could go, but is there any plans coming up in the future for what you guys are doing?
Well, we have a release party. We booked. Still, a lot of countries have restrictions, but in Switzerland, they have opened up more or less completely, so we can do indoor without any restrictions. So we have booked a release party on the 9th of October at a very nice venue in Switzerland, and so we're gonna have a party there. We're gonna hopefully people show up, and then we have more shows coming up in Scandinavia throughout the fall and the starting of the winter. But a full-blown tour through, like a European full-blown tour is not going to happen until early 2022. But we had a gig in Tennessee as well for October. We had to cancel it. It's called Monsters of the Mountain in America, but we had to cancel that because the embassies are closed. So next time we go to America, it's going to be a Monster of Rock cruise in February.
Oh, it's great to see that you are going to be coming back for that as well. I remember seeing that cancellation happening. It was really sad to see that, and the state of the world that we're in. But I'm glad to see that you will be coming back for that.
Yeah, hopefully we can make not an American tour, but at least we can do a few gigs here and there, maybe in the major cities, and at least something. Because we never toured or played many shows at all. We played Prog Power, and we played some festivals, melodic rock festivals in Chicago, but nothing, no proper gigs.
Oh yeah, that is true, but you have been able to play some great festivals. I mean, Prog Power has always been such a great festival that they're able to put on every year, and sadly that wasn't
great festival.
Yeah, and I love the venue setup too. Just like it feels like that great version of being a festival, but it still feels very intimate when you're there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember they had a lot of great beers upstairs as well.
Oh yes, they have so many great types of beers there. It always makes for a good time, and I imagine that's got to be a good feeling. It's instead of constantly being on the tour, but when you're able to hit different festivals and knowing that people are coming just to see you and they're coming to check out all these other bands, and you're able to put like all of that energy into one show and making that as special as it can be.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Festivals are really fun because usually you play shorter sets. You just go up there and when we're on a tour, I'm the singer. They can't. For me, it's like I cannot go and like get drunk and party and because I will lose my voice. Like I gotta really stay in shape, especially if it's a month's tour. I really gotta take care of the voice. Otherwise, I will be screwed before the tour is over. But when you do festivals, you don't have to really think about that much. You don't have to care about getting too much sleep. So I always like playing as a singer. I think festivals are really fun.
Oh, definitely. And, again, thinking about with Wired coming out and being able to play some songs from that already, I mean, it's great to see that you have another album's worth of material to be able to work on and keep refining that playlist so it never feels stale. You're always able to add new music to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's probably one of the best things about releasing a new record is that you can make a new set list and play new songs that so you have something you really look forward to playing the new songs all the time.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, it feels like the entire album could be played live on its own, and it's going to be great when you're doing CD release show, when you get back to playing those Scandinavian shows, just like being able to see what songs you're going to be playing, what you're going to be continue to be playing, and see what the fans are really into as well, too. I mean, obviously with a new album, and you're waiting to hear that reception, so when you're playing other songs, it's going to be cool to hear that reception.
Absolutely. It's I really look forward to that too. It's really interesting that sometimes it's not the singles that works best live, and when we have like when we recorded, we had like 12 songs we have recorded and being released, and then you choose singles, which is we think we have our favorite songs. Maybe this can work, and the label says or maybe this one, and then we just decide on okay, let's go for these songs as singles. But for me, those are just songs, because I always think a full album. I think we have a great album, and it's so hard to pick, cherry pick the songs which are going to represent the album, because I think it's really hard to pick just one song or two songs that's going to represent this whole album. And sometimes when you pick songs, maybe you forget, maybe the favorite of the fans is not one of those songs that you picked as a single. And it's been happening before that, album tracks can become the best thing live, which is great.
Oh, it's so true. I mean, and especially when I think about Wired, I mean, I love listening to it from start to finish. A way I still feel albums should be appreciated as being able to listen to them from start to finish and hear the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys, the ebbs and flows that go out throughout the entire album, rather than just trying to cherry pick a couple songs. And when you have an album like this, when any song could work so well as a single, I imagine how hard that's got to be. But it's also a great sign when you can take something like Saturday Night Hallelujah or Bite the Bullet, and that could be a great song live. But you can also have something like Poison Inside My Heart or Dying Breed sound like a great song in that live setting as well too. I mean, there's so many options.
Yeah, but I agree. And but when let's say you choose a single and you choose Saturday Night Hallelujah, and you play that song for a bunch of people, and they have to decide if it's a good record or not. And just imagine if you just changed and played Bite the Bullet, which is a totally different kind of song. You play that, they would have a completely different feel about what the album is going to be like. But they still fit great on the same record, but it's going to make a big, how they perceive what the record is going to be like. That's why it's so hard to pick a single.
Oh yeah, and with that, making sure that you put them in the right spot in the set list too, because you want to make sure that they're going to be ready to hear a new song, and it's like they're coming to hear the songs that they already know and love, and especially when you're doing something like a CD release show, being whether you're able to play the whole album or you're able to just play a few songs off of it, you want to make sure that you're giving it the best representation you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got to play at least once every song live. We usually play like 6-7 new songs every night on a tour, because we have fans who still buy, or who still are interested in new music from us. It's like when you have like those classic rock bands like AC/DC, most people are there to hear Highway to Hell or or You Shook Me All Night Long. They don't really want to hear the new songs. But with Eclipse, it's I think the audience really likes hearing new material, because we have our fans are very interested and into new music and music.
Yeah, and that's absolutely how I feel about it. Like, ever since I discovered the band, I just love the signature sound that's going along with it, and with every subsequent album, I'm just looking forward to what's going to maintain, what's going to be different. It's like, what are the songs that are going to be slower? What are the songs that are going to be more up-tempo? What are the songs that are going to be the single? And I love hearing that from new albums and from bands that I do care about, because to me, it's very rewarding being able to get that new album experience. And I think a band like Eclipse is more than capable of always being able to deliver that.
Yeah, hopefully. I think the best Eclipse album is not done yet. I think it's in the future.
Oh yeah, I absolutely see it, because with every album I feel like you guys are getting better and better, stronger and stronger, and I really feel that way with Wired so far. To me, it's my favorite Eclipse album so far, but just like you said, I know the best material is yet to come, and it's going to be exciting to hear what that is when it comes. But until then, there's an amazing catalog of Eclipse so far, and so many great songs that work in that live setting, and songs that I'm sure will work out in that great live setting when it comes to Wired and everything to come in the future.
Yeah, I look forward to the fight within the band to choose a set list.
Oh, yeah, and I can imagine that's also a bit tough for you sometimes as well, just like making sure that you can go from one song to the next, and making sure that your voice is prepped for that, because there's quite a bit of range that you got, and you want to make sure that you can hit everything right.
Yeah, that's well, I always give it 100% in the studio. Then it's live. I never think about live when I'm doing the records, and afterwards when it's time to start to get in shape for a tour, it's like, damn, why are they all so high in pitch?
Oh, I gotta imagine that does help, though. I mean, when you're in the studio and then you listen back to it, and just like making sure that you have your voice in shape, making sure that your body's in shape, and mentally being in shape. That way, when you can go in and you can play the best possible show you can, and whether you're off by a note or you're able to hit everything 100%, as long as you're putting on a great live show, it's gonna be a great time.
Absolutely. When I was younger, I was very I really wanted to sing perfectly every night, and it almost became a problem, because I was always focusing on and I'm feeling well in the voice today, and as I've been getting older, I don't care anymore. It's like, for me, it's like, today my voice is good, then I'm gonna sing good. If it's bad, I just, all right, this is the shape I'm in today, and it's just because it's different from day to day, and it's all about having a good time, and don't think too much about it. Just go out and have a really good show, enjoy it, because that is what makes the show great. It's not about hitting every note. It's not about performing at your best way. It's about having a good time and deliver that to the audience.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, and I'm just so excited to see when you guys are going to be able to continue going on like this, hopefully with the 2022 and onward, but to see that there is still the CD release show coming up, the Scandinavian shows that are going to be coming up, and of course, in just a couple weeks now, through this amazing new album from Eclipse called Wired. I absolutely love this album from start to finish, and I'm glad to see that it has come out in under some of the darkest of times lately, and able to have such a great positive spin behind it. And it's been great talking to you about all of it, and just learning more about this album and what it's going to be like in the future. I mean, hopefully, if everything goes right, and just being able to see those live shows again.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. It was great to be able to talk to you and promote this great album. Before we're done, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
I think we kind of covered it all. It's I hope everyone will love the album, and everyone's not going to love the album, of course, but it's like, have a listen to it, drink your favorite drink, and just enjoy yourself. And hopefully this whole COVID thing will be over, and then we can see you at live gigs in the future.
Oh, perfect. Great note to end on. And again, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I've had a wonderful time being able to do this. I can't wait to put out this interview and be able to help promote the band here more over in the States. And I just thank you very much for taking the time.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure talking to you.
And to you as well, and I hope you have a great rest of the night.
Yep. Same to you.
All right, bye-bye.